make this as quick and concise as I can. My project, my speaking on my subject really starts off with orientation. So the name of the session is context, where we are in God's story, where we are in history. And it's really about orientation. I've just introduced from God's perspective what our orientation is, okay? What we're looking for, why this event's here, okay? It's for us to meet with God. So that's job one, okay? I don't know if you're familiar with the term. It's used in with first responders, ambulance, woofers. It's a term to determine where you are when they come upon you in an injury, where you are in your consciousness level. And they call it A&O times 4. A&O times 4 is the best you can be, in that you're aware of everything. Time and space, your name, history, what's going on, and everything like that. And so I went back today and was praying, okay, God, I've got all this knowledge, I've got this message, and I've got all this, but how do you want me to share this? How is it that's the best way to share it? And God gave me this, just literally this afternoon. I've got a bunch of notes up there I was going to use, but God gave me this. And so I want to make it quick and concise. So A&O, so when an ambulance driver or an EMS or a paramedic would come on you, they would go through basically a check, if you were conscious or maybe had lost consciousness, they're going to check you to see what your level of consciousness is, okay? And so there's several levels, A&O times 1, okay, is when they basically check, and who are you? What's your identity, okay? Can you tell me your name? That's pretty much the very first thing they're going to ask you. Can you remember your name? Can you remember your birthday? Okay, get it? Mm-hmm. So, first thing for us is, who are we? And God says, okay, and if we will get down to brass tacks, right, what does God say about us? First of all, in God's truth, God's kingdom, God's ways, there's only 2 categories of people, lost and saved. There really is. There's only 2. So where are you? Okay, where are you? You can't really go much further until you know where you are in that. Right? Because it makes a difference.
Yeah. Right.
About your consciousness level, about your awareness level. Because I was just doing a video for my daughters this morning when I went out on my run. And that was what I said. I was telling them, just trying to get them some basic truths across. I do videos. I said, girls, there's so much going on, a lot of your friends, and I know you can say anything. I said, but in the end of the day, with your friends, and they have a lot of different friends with a lot of different problems, there's only 2 things they can be, and that's lost or saved. Mm-hmm. And, they will love them and love them well. I'm just sharing you a little bit about that. And one of my daughters has a friend who's gay, and she's trying to show love to them, and how you do that. And I was making the video as a direct result of that is, look, the best loving thing you can bring them to is into they're either lost, right, and headed to hell and destruction, or they're saved. And Jesus, the behavior is not the issue in that, it's like, because God takes care of the behavior. But I was just basically this is a very basic truth. What we believe, okay, what our orientation is, we're either lost or saved. We don't have an in-between. Okay? So, our identity. And then with that is, who are we in Christ? Right, that's job 1. Who are we in Christ? Well, we have a whole litany of scriptures, right? We are His beloved. We are treasured. We're precious. We were thought of before we were conceived in the womb. We're a little lower than angels. Okay? We are living icons of God on earth. We're His image bearers. Okay? We have, these verses. So who are you? Lost, saved, and who are you? Who am I? Yes, you're Ivan Bloom. But before that now, right? Ivan Bloom, who are you in Christ? And that's the core of our identity. A&O times 1. Who are you? Okay? And we're going to, yes, sir.
I'm a child of God.
A child of God.
Period.
Right. Also, who are you, as men? Leaders in our families. spiritual leaders, or, who are we in our businesses? Okay, these are going to be things that are going to be gained through this weekend. If you're not sure of that, those are going to be reaffirmed and reassured. Okay, that's part. So this is orientation. This is like starting off on an expedition. These are the things that you're going to learn. You need to know. You're going to learn to identify. And are going to gain assurance and confidence in as the weekend goes through. Okay, and you're going to hear a lot more about it from Tim, from Barry, and from myself as we go through the weekend. A&O times 2. Do you know the time? What does it say in one of our verses about this weekend? Is that the men that went to the mountains, they understood the times they lived in. And in understanding the times, going home, they could be effective, right? They could be effective in their time, in their place, in their season, in their assignments, okay, in the season of life they were in. It's very important that you understand times. Okay, biblically, we believe in a biblical worldview. Our frame of reference for us as Christians, right, is that we're in the middle of a story. It's God's story. It's God's plan. It's not our plan. Okay, we have a part in that plan, right? Genesis, the mission in Genesis, the mission in Matthew, the Great Commission, joining Jesus Christ and the rescue and restoration of all mankind, our individual assignments, to be His disciples, discipling other disciples. Those are things, that come along with that understanding of, do you understand the times? But understanding the times is really important, because we can get so focused on our identity, okay, and so focused. I see people get so focused on themselves that they don't ever look up and see. And now you can go way too far on the times. But it's very important that where we are in our time, in our culture right now, especially, I think. I mean, I'm 58, and the things seem like we really didn't know what's going on, right? Culturally, what's going on in the United States, what's going on in the world. And so there's really important that what time is it? What season are we in God's story? What's our story? Where are we at in our story? Okay? And we've got some varying ages here. And some of us are in different seasons. Some of us are in different assignments. Some of us are transferring or moving from one assignment to another. Okay? I think about Paul being, tent making in how many years? He's in this transition time. And so there's a lot of understanding, okay, where are we at historically? Where are we at in our story, okay, in our time, in our life? Okay? It's really important. And to just do a quick review is that it is God's story. Okay, and that story is the backdrop of our lives, and you're going to hear a lot about that this weekend. It's going to be really explained. But we really need to leave this place with a very clear understanding of our times, so that we can be effective, to the world around us. We're meeting with God, and that has serious ramifications when we go home. Okay. One thing I will say about our times is that we need men who hear from God, and one of the things we're missing in our world right now is the prophets that understand the times and that can speak into that, And so if we're meeting with God, we're going to get some prophetic words for our times, maybe our communities, for our towns, for our states. My best friend's a North Carolina senator right now, just got elected, and he's a prophet in that arena. Okay? He understands the times. He understands what he's fighting against, why he's there. Okay? So A&O times 2 is understanding, okay, my time. They ask you, do you know the date? What day it is? Those type of things. But it's really important for us to understand the times, okay? A&O times 3, do you know the circumstances of what happened to you? What happened? How did you get hurt? How did you come to be where you are? Do you know what's happened in your life so far to bring you to this point? Okay? Jesus came to not only rescue and release and set the prisoners free, he came to restore and heal. Now, a lot of us are living with wounds and trauma and childlike actions that we need healing from. That we need to get, that we need, needs to be, we need to walk through and work through. And we don't always know that. We were just having this discussion. Years ago, when I first heard, I never, as a Southern Baptist, never, ever was I taught about how the assault, the arrows against my heart, which are clearly laid out in Scripture. I didn't know. And I thought it was, honestly, I thought it was psycho-babble, mumbo-jumbo. Until I went to my bunk and God just went right to my heart and I began to weep over a wound that I did not know I had, but I did. But as soon as I felt it, I knew it was true. And it's like, you cannot be effective because you're still stunted in your growth at that place. And your whole life, from the time I was 5 years old, literally, has been built and predicated upon that wound and the reactions to that wound. And you're acting this way, you know what I'm saying? So, how did you get hurt? You know what the doctors are going to say when they come? They really need to know, did you fall and hit your head? Because they need to know, first of all, is there brain damage? Secondly, is there neck damage? It's really important that they get the correct information so they can apply the correct treatment. It's vital in diagnosing you. And how they treat you and how they convey that information to the doctors or how they treat you in the field is very vital. Especially if it's a serious injury. You've got about an hour, right? They don't know you've got internal bleeding. They don't know you fell. You might have a brain bleed. And you can't remember that you fell and hit your head. Did you pass out? That's the first thing they do. They ask, did you pass out? Well, that's an automatic neck brace right there. And everything, from their flows, if you pass out, they're on. They don't even mess around. They put a neck brace, put you on the backboard, everything else. Just my son-in-law just broke his femur about 10 weeks ago. Major break in his femur. And he's so much pain that they kept asking him, did you pass out? They even asked me. I had to get up there to him and said, can you identify him? I said, well, his name's Christian. But they kept worrying that he passed out. They had already had him strapped down on the backboard. But they were it kept on. Did you pass out? Did you pass out? Were you ever unconscious? Okay? So it's very important. But it's important that we understand. Understanding doesn't mean that we have healing. Okay?
Good.
And that's important. But it is huge to know. It is huge to know because once you know, you can begin the process of healing. Tim he limped for years with his hip.
Did I?
Yes. And we kept saying, what's up with the limp? And he didn't know until he went to the doctor and they did an x-ray and they said, man, you got a bad hip. Right? And then it's like, well, we can fix that. And now he's recovering from that. But it's been a long journey. It's been a battle. And he went years with that wounding, with that brokenness, and he's having, and the result of that is his body adapted to it. And we do the same thing in our own wounding, okay? And that's those childish things that we pray about doing away with. Because as John Elder would say, or a psychiatry would tell you, or good counselor would say, is that you stop development in that area wherever you're wounded. Whether that's physically with a hip, obviously, kids break legs when they're young and it messes up their growth plates, right? Well, it's the same way. So it's important that we know, in 0803, how did you get here? How did you get hurt? And 04 is, the best of everything. You're alert, you're aware, you're oriented, you know your place in space and time, And so we have determined your level of consciousness. Then they move on to what's called the chunk check. Because you might not even know you're here. And that's where they literally, begin to check your body for fractures or bruises or contusions through just literally going from head down to your toes with pressing on your body. Because you might not even be aware that you're hurt. Okay? You might not be aware. You could still be unaware. Well, I fell. Something's wrong. I can't get up. I can't walk. So someone outside of themselves has to come along and check it. So Gary Barlow says something. He said, you can go through your life and know things, but a life unevaluated, okay? And what I mean by evaluated is opening yourself to others checking you out. Doesn't bring growth. You might be aware of things, but if you have not allowed others to evaluate you and to kind of, speak into your life, you can't grow. If you can't be brave enough to let someone maybe press on your pelvis, okay, in a chunk check, and it's going to hurt if you got a broken hip or a broken femur. Same way with evaluation. We need to open ourselves up to evaluation. So this weekend, you're going to get in a long time with God. We're going to be available for a long time with you. If we've made ourselves available, and you need to open yourself up to that evaluation. You're going to leave here in just a few minutes to go out with the questions right after this session, and it's designed to get you allowing God to evaluate you, to begin to do the close-in knife work, so to speak, that allows God to start to. There's some tough questions. First question is, are you near or far from God? Well, what do I say to that? Both. But it's you and God. It's not, you. So it's kind of setting the pace. So it's allowing God to intervene, and allowing for God, right? He's going to be in our presence. God is not going to settle for anything less. Right? If He's here with us, He's here with us. Well, I'm sorry. He is here with us. And He's not going to settle for anything less than giving you. He's going to check you out. He knows you already. And He's going to be willing to expose you to go after those things that you want, that you desire, that you need. I don't want to leave this place the same man that came to this place. I really don't. And I don't want any of us to leave here the same men that came here. I know that I need to be a more godly man at home. In a new way. I'm in a different season of my life. I'm in a different place in my life. So that's a real quick and dirty down orientation. Like I said, I could just sit here and regale you with all my super fantastic wisdom and little foibles and all kinds of things to tell you things, but I wanted to give you quick and dirty because I want to get you out of God as soon as possible while there's sunlight, and you and God and the bear can go out there and, before and get into these words. I'm going to ask Gary to pray for us, okay? And by the way, anything you guys want to add to that, please do. That's the other thing is we don't. We're kind of doing this individually, but really we work best kind of when we're together, and they always have permission to share and speak. And so anything y'all want to add?
I just want to reiterate, you used my hip as an example, and it really, God's shown me that. It's just a personal one that I walk around with, if I could say it that way. It's like we get wounds in life. And what do? Well, it hurts, but we keep going. Mm-hmm. And in the physical sense, I probably, good 5 to 8 years, kept going, kept doing the same old thing, and I could do just about everything. I started, the biggest mile marker for me was 2 years ago when I ran into Boulder. It was a 5K, and I could hardly walk back to the bus. I was hurting that bad, and I said, I just can't run anymore. and you know, thought maybe I could recover, but never really got. You know, it just continually hurt. And but I'm still doing stuff, snowboarding, hiking, you know, all that kind of good stuff. But I do, you know, there are times when, like, you know, I try to jump across the creek, I just didn't have strength. I'd slip and fall in the middle of it. You know, and you know, and you just little things, you know, that you just couldn't do, but somehow you work around it. Your body starts to adapt, and which you know, and then you finally, you know, I tried everything, you know, everything but yoga. I didn't do that, but anyway, and some of it helped. It would help a little bit, but it never really fixed it. And then finally, for me, it was, you know, one night, literally, you know, I was up most of the night hurting. I'd snowboarded 2 days before that, and my regular drugs and stuff, you know, ibuprofen and Advil really didn't do anything. So God and I had this long conversation. It's kind of like, as a friend of mine said, I finally got out of denial, recognized that you got a problem. And I had already been to the doctor, and he said, well, you don't have any cartilage in there. That's what your problem is. And I'm like, but I think I can still fix it. I can still, you know, I'll be okay, you know. Wrong. Until you fix the problem, you know, you continue to walk around. You walk with a limp, and it'll get worse, and it'll get worse, and it'll get worse. And then, okay, so now I got the problem fixed. And you think, well, okay, now I'm back. No, I'm not. You know, the surgeon goes in there in less than an hour, he's done. The rest of it's up to you. So a lot of times in the same way, God will come in and he'll do something powerful in your life. Well, it's not always over with right then. You know, now you've got to go through the recovery process. And what that looks like for me, you know, the muscles are all jacked up, both sides actually. And even to the point that certain movements, you know, you could hear my muscles kind of pop, 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 snap over each other. Mm-hmm. You know, they were so enmeshed because I'd gone on so long. And so we get wounds in life, and we get those things, and we, you know, usually you don't recover from them just like that. You know, it takes time. You got to work at it. So that's just a great illustration. You brought that up, but it's really good, Mark.
I'd like to preface my prayer a little bit,
Okay.
because let's give God permission to take us where He will. Okay, I mean, we've got questions kind of help, you know, get you going. God's taking you somewhere else, you go somewhere else. If you open your Bible to, you know, Isaiah or what, if that's what God's telling you to do. This is it's a valuable weekend, and I'm going to pray for my spirit to catch up with my body. You know, when you guys come in here on Friday evening from your work week and your family week and everything, you just need to take some breaths. Okay, just take some breaths and let your spirit literally catch up with your body. I'm down there at dinner just shoveling it in like I got someplace to go, you know, or you know, I can go get the yard mowed or whatever. Wait, what are you doing? You know, and so that's how I'll pray for us a lot of ways, but that's what too. Father, we just give you permission to take us where you will. Just pray that every word that is spoken in this room, around the campfire, around meal times, every word be from you as we encourage each other, as we strengthen each other, as we speak words over each other that are so valuable and so important. But we just give you permission to move in, to help us get oriented, let our spirit catch up with our body, let everything be united with you, Father. And perhaps we've run so fast we haven't heard from you lately, and so this is our time to slow down and do that, Father. We want to hear from you in a mighty way. We stand against an enemy that wants distractions and all of these head congestions and coughs and everything that's going on. We just rebuke all of that. We rebuke every physical ailment that's coming against anybody in this room. Anything that might come against us from our homes, we rebuke all of that. And we claim warring angels just posted around this property. We pray for incredible protection all around us to bind us, to protect, to bind up the enemy, keep him away from us in any way that he wants to. And Father, this is about more of you. And into each of us. And so we're claiming that tonight. And, so Father, we just thank you. Our hearts are grateful to be here, that we did make it. And this Mount Elam camp and Dan and all that this represents, we just pray a magnificent blessing over this place. And, Father, we love you. We praise you. We pray in your name for your glory. Amen.